Number one on niche.com's best suburbs for families to live here in Austin, Texas is Brushy Creek. And, you know, Brushy Creek's a great place. I'm not saying it's not. It's just kind of an odd number one choice for suburbs considering, well, it's kind of really not a suburb. But there's a lot of things on this list that you need to stick around for. I mean, I gave you number one. I guess you could click off now. It's Brushy Creek. You want to know the best place for families in Austin? It's Brushy Creek. There you go. Roll credits. But you probably do want to stick around because there are some things on this list. If you go to their website, I mean, you could just skip the video and go to their website. Look at that. But there's some insight that you probably need. That's why I'm making this video, to help y'all out, help you find the places, you know, if you're looking for suburbs, you want places that are rated as good for families, here you go. There's actually some really good ones on this list that you probably want to know about. And I got some good info for you, some little insight. So we're gonna jump right into the list. And before we get into, I want to say it's kind of interesting just because of how many people we know are interested in these areas. You know, like Round Rock, Pflugerville, they didn't make the top 10. We're only looking at the top 10, but they were right there. They're pretty popular. We've got videos about them on the channel. People ask about them all the time. Definitely got a lot of family oriented things. Definitely have some of the top rated school districts. I mean, Brushy Creek, part of that area is in Round Rock ISD. So there you go. But they didn't make the list. What did make the list? Number 10, starting it out, is Dripping Springs. And I gotta tell you, I love Dripping Springs. It is probably, when I first started wanting to move to Austin, Dripping Springs was like my number one choice to move here. And it's because it is beautiful out there. You've got, you're getting into the hill country. You got a lot of new development. You've got a cool little downtown area that's been there a lot longer. I mean, if you look at the town of Dripping Springs, it is much smaller than the Dripping Springs ETJ, which is just kind of the area around there that they have control over. And you can look at the Dripping Springs Independent School District, which is one of the top rated school districts. It is an A+ rated school district according to niche.com. But you know, you're I'd say about 30 minutes from downtown there if you don't get caught up with traffic over there at the Y at Oak Hill coming in, which they're working on that. It's kind of a nightmare at times. Just I'm telling you up front, it can take you a while to get through there if you hit it at the wrong time of day. But other than that, typically on average about 30 minutes from downtown. And the reason that I kind of pulled back from wanting to go to Dripping Springs, and I'm just going to tell you, this isn't the most affordable list. $700,000 to $800,000. That's about the median for the Dripping Springs area. Now, that's not to say you can't find some things in the $400,000 price range, but you know, most of them are up there. A lot of the tax rates, you know, in between downtown and going all the way out to Dripping Springs is Belterra, which is still in that same school district. Still about the same price point though, and some of those tax rates, I mean, you're pushing 3% on your property taxes, at least as property taxes are right now. If you haven't seen, check out the other video that I'll pop up there kind of explaining what's going on with that, hopefully here soon. But yeah, you know, it's pretty high. Now you do get a lot of those will come with more land. So, you know, if you're more closer into town, 700,000 or 800,000 might just get you a little postage stamp, where out there you've got, you know, half acre to an acre. So there are some trade-offs depending on what you're looking for. And there's some new master plan communities out there as well. There's kind of a mixed bag out there depending on what you're looking for. But whatever you get, it's a beautiful area. It's an area where a lot of people will have Airbnbs for weddings, because weddings are pretty popular out that way. Just getting into the hills. You've got kind of starting into the hill wine country area. You've got Deep Eddy Vodka out that way, which you might be familiar with. So a lot is going on out in Dripping Springs. And then Belterra, you've got the huge shopping area. You've got the big, huge, brand new HEB they've built out there as well. So it's a hot spot. Lots going on out there. And then if you get out in the hill country, there's lots of things to see, like the Hamilton Pool. And you know, it's a cool spot. You got to get reservations though. We were out that way not too long ago and stopped. There's a place right on Highway 12. If you're going up north of Dripping Springs, there's the Route 12 filling station. They got like a splash pad out there for kids. It's, you know, we loved it. We had a good time. The kids had a great time out there, and the food was actually really good too. Got me a good chicken fried steak. If you know me, you know that I'm all about it. That's my favorite thing to get. Now, before we get too much deeper in the list, I want to stop and say real quick, as much as I love making these videos, I love it even more when y'all will reach out to us, call, text, whatever it takes, and get in touch with us so that we can help you make the move here to anywhere in the Austin area, any of these suburbs that we mentioned on the list, suburbs areas. You know, it's kind of, you know, the list gets kind of weird. But anyway, take down the number, call, text, email, get in touch with us. We're going to help you out. In the meantime, if you're not ready yet, just go ahead and hit the subscribe button. But, even if you're a year out, give us a call. We'd love to help. We'd love to talk and answer your questions about the area. But we're going to keep things moving right along because number 9 on the list is Leander. And Leander has been pretty popular with a lot of y'all that we have talked to, and no mystery why, really, because there's a lot of growth going on there, a lot of new residential development as well as a ton of commercial and just different things. You've got Northline coming out there, which is like its own domain type area, which is mixed use, residential, shopping, commercial. You've also got Leander Springs, which is going to have a big, huge lagoon type area, kind of a resort feel going on there. So lots of stuff coming to Leander. Not a whole lot there right now, though, just not a lot of excitement, except for the reason that a lot of y'all are talking about it, and that is because Leander ISD is one of the top rated school districts, A+ rated on niche.com there. So that's a highly rated school district. It's what's bringing a lot of people to the area. The price points aren't too bad, for the Austin area. It's about $400,000 to $500,000. You can get things down into the threes. We looked at it in a recent video that you can check out. I'll pop up there where we did see stuff down into the threes, new construction out in Leander. So, there's, something for you in Leander if you're kind of trying to save some money, but you want to be in a great school district. There you go. You've got that, and you've got a lot of growth potential coming down the line pretty soon. Next up on the list is Bee Cave, and what you're going to find out about a lot of these hill country areas that we're talking about is you're going to be paying for those views and all the scenery that you got, and it is beautiful there in Bee Cave, and you got a lot of things to do. You got shopping, you got the Hill Country Galleria there with restaurants, and they have events there and things too. So a lot going on there, a lot of good things about Bee Cave, and you're only about, I'd say, 20 or so, 25 minutes from downtown. But the average price point, the median price range, is going to run somewhere around $700,000 or $800,000. Roughly. You can get a little bit below that. You can go way above it too if you want to. But that's what you're looking at there in Bee Cave. And you're in another top-rated school district there. And I think that's kind of the key here for what Niche is using in their list to give you top areas for families is it's got to have great schools. And they've got this one rated A as well. You'll be in the Lake Travis School District there. So, it's a pretty good area. You're not right downtown, but you're not too far. You get some great hill country views. You've got a good bit to do. And the next one on the list after that, kind of in my mind, is almost like an extension of it, because I think of these two together, and that's Lakeway. So, you'll hear me say the Bee Cave Lakeway area, because you go about a little bit farther. Now you're about 35 minutes or so from downtown. You're in Lakeway. The views have gotten even better at this point. You've got some great lake view, obviously Lakeway. So you're right there on Lake Travis. You've got some great views there, both overlooking out Lake Travis and just the hills around. You're in a pretty hilly spot of the hill country. There's one spot there in particular. I know you're just driving down the highway and you look off to your right and you've just got this beautiful view looking out over, and you can see the lake over in the distance. So it's a beautiful area. It's also kind of a high-end area as well. Again, 800, 900,000 is not going to be uncommon. You can find in some areas a little bit less than that, but it's a pretty nice area, and it's got high-end things to do. You come in, they got the golf ball water tower. So, you got a huge golf community there, great golf courses, and they really lean into that in Lakeway. And we get a little bit later in the list here. There's a few more down. It's kind of odd here, but we're going to revisit Lakeway again. But just beautiful area, lots of stuff to do, lake views, hill views. It's all there. You're still in the Lake Travis ISD there. So again, A-rated school district, just like there in Bee Cave. And there's some other cool stuff in Lakeway too. Like there's a air park community. So if you've got your pilot's license, you want to park your plane in a hangar right outside your back door, you can do that. That's there for you in Lakeway. So again, if you've ever flown, and I have put some time in to get a pilot license, it's a high-end hobby for sure. You can spend a lot of money on it. So yeah, you got some high-end things to do there in Lakeway. So it's a cool spot. I like it. It's a cool place. If you just want to go drive through, it's a beautiful place to see. Now the next one on the list is a little less scenic, but it definitely still deserves its number 6 spot, and that is Cedar Park. And it's still beautiful. It's still got its own charm. But the main reason I think it's on this list, it's got just a ton of things to do. Great parks and areas to go check out there. You got great pools. The location is fantastic. Just easy to get right downtown into Austin. About 20 minutes, maybe 25 or so, depending on where you want to go. And literally everything that you need is there. All your shopping, your Costco, Target. I think the Sam's Club is technically not in Cedar Park, but it's right there if you prefer Sam's Club. You got the Lakeline Mall right there on the south side of town. You got some new development coming in the Beltry. I go on and on. There's just tons and tons of stuff for you to do, but whether for families or for anybody really there in Cedar Park, pretty much everything you need. Tons of restaurants. Now, I will say, you know, the one criticism is you don't have a ton of local unique restaurants there, but you got all the chain restaurants, you know, a lot of local chains, national chains, all that's going to be there. And you got some cool stuff. You got some food truck spots and other things like that. So I'd say it's still got it there, but again, you're still in that top rated school district there, Leander ISD, just like you are in Leander. You're just a little bit closer to town than Leander is. So a little more established as a suburb, you know, where Leander's got a new growth, a lot of new things coming. Leander's kind of already gotten a lot of that stuff, even though it does still also have some new stuff coming there. That the Bell District spot looks like it's going to be pretty cool when they finish that out. But Cedar Park is a favorite for sure for families and just about everybody else. And it's really not that bad when you consider all of those things together. And the median price range is going to be around $500,000 to $600,000, with the ability to go a little bit below that, and of course above it, just like everywhere else. And no, just like Lakeway, Cedar Park also has a little air park community. So there's a couple spots around here. If you're into general aviation, you can find a neighborhood that's going to work perfectly for you, just Lakeway or Cedar Park. And me and Luis did a whole video about Cedar Park that I'll pop up there. So if you want to learn a little bit more about Cedar Park and see some of these different neighborhoods and the parks and that cool food truck spot I mentioned, we went to that in that video. So check that out if you want to see that. And if you want to save some money compared to the next one, we're going to jump up a lot in price point here, because the median price range in this one's pretty much around $3 million, but you can go way higher even than that, and that is Rollingwood. Now, the interesting thing about Rollingwood, I mean, it is definitely a great place. It is a beautiful area, a very affluent area, obviously, just with the price tag there. It's only about 10 minutes to downtown from there, and depending on where you are, you got some great views of downtown. But the thing that makes it interesting here is that Rollingwood really, I definitely wouldn't consider it a suburb. It's kind of more of a neighborhood within an area that I also maybe wouldn't really call a suburb, but I guess you let me know in the comments. Would you call this whole area? And you know, we're going to get into the whole area, but anyway, you're in Eanes ISD here. It is a smaller school district than some of the other ones, you know, like Leander or Round Rock. You know, those ISDs you'll hear a lot. Dripping Springs. These are big school districts with a lot of kids. This one is going to be much smaller, but it's also a little more exclusive because it's kind of hard to find a house in this school district at Eanes that is going to be under really about 1.5 million. Under million is even tougher. So it's got a high barrier to entry there, and with that you do get one of the top rated school districts in Texas. That one, there's going to be an A+ rated one as well, so you are getting that, but it's not really an area. And we're going to go ahead and jump right ahead to number 4 on the list, which is the Westlake Hills, which is kind of the broader area that I would say encompasses that. Maybe it's just adjacent, but all this is right there together. And Rollingwood, Westlake Hills, it has that reputation of being the place where, you know, the more wealthy people in Austin are going to live. And these are the areas where you're going to find, you know, maybe we can say the Westlake Hills median is a little bit lower in that 1.5 to 2.5 million range. But all this area is where you can find $10 million homes, $15 million homes, kind of overlooking, you know, Lake Austin and downtown. And it is just beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous out there. Some great shopping and higher-end restaurants. I went to a Thai restaurant. Thai's really not my thing, but my wife wanted to try, and she, be careful with those Thai, I think they're like Thai chili peppers. She bit into one of those, and, you know, after seeing how much she struggled with it, I'm like, it can't be that bad. I tried it, and it was pretty rough. But it was Sway was the name of that. Sway, it's a great spot. It's not really the place I would normally go to, but it was a really cool spot. You know, we're also in there. You know, my sister-in-law, you might have seen her on another video on the channel. She actually lives in the North Loop area in Austin, but she likes to come to a plant nursery that's here in Westlake, and they got some nice stuff. And you know, she goes, she's got plants everywhere. I'll kill them. I'll kill the plants. I just can't. You know, I gotta look. That's the best I can do on a plant. That one's doing great. It's living its best life because it's made out of plastic. And if it was real, it would be dead. But I'm glad there are people that can go buy very expensive, very nice plants and actually take care of them, because I guess at that point you pretty much have to. But yes, the Westlake Hills is, you know, if you can get in there, it is a beautiful area. I definitely understand why it basically is taking up the number 4 and 5 spot here with Rollingwood. But if we want to come back down a little bit, we're gonna keep the name about the same, and that is the Hills. They've got the Hills listed as number 3. And the thing about this one is, Remember when I said at Lakeway, we're going to revisit it?
Kind of odd here, but we're going to revisit Lakeway again.
The Hills is basically in Lakeway, so I don't know how you would say that this is a separate suburb. I don't know. Again, somebody may disagree with me, and you can put that down in the comments, but the Hills is kind of more of a neighborhood area. There's the Hills Country Club there in Lakeway, which again is just beautiful scenery. Again, I mean, they tell you with the big golf ball tower when you're driving to Lakeway that we're a pretty golf-focused area here, and that you've got that country club life, and that's pretty permeated in that area. And so the Hills is kind of go right with that. If you look, we're about the same as medium price point as we are in the rest of the Lakeway area. You might find something a little lower in that subsection. You could get down around the 500,000 or 600,000, but I'd say generally expect 600,000 to 700,000 in that area. And all the great things about Lakeway, you got them here. Beautiful views. You're right there close to Lake Travis. All that is right there. Lots of stuff to do. But let's go on to another one that's kind of unique on the list. It's kind of weird. The top 5 are all a little bit strange to be on a top suburb list, but they're good areas, so that's why I want to clarify this for you. Leave me a thumbs up if you appreciate that. Number 2 is Shady Hollow. Now, Shady Hollow is really more of kind of a neighborhood just on the very south edge of Austin. It's kind of close to the Circle C area. If you look, Circle C is a kind of a bigger, kind of more one I hear more about anyway in that area. And then kind of to the east of that, you've got the Shady Hollow area, and it's kind of a pretty well-established area. You've got some older homes, you've got some newer homes, so at least kind of a broad price range. I mean, the 600s to over $1 million, because some of those are older, some of them are renovated, some of them are brand new. But you're right down there on the kind of the south edge of Austin. It's about 15 minutes or so from there to get to downtown. You're close to a lot of the shopping and things that are, again, close to the Circle C area. You got your Costco, you've got your Alamo Drafthouse movie theater, you got your HEBs, you got all that going on down there. So pretty much everything you need down that way. And if you kind of want to be more on the south side of Austin, if you're not going to be commuting to the tech hub and the tech ridge and things going on the north side, this could be a good one for you too. So a lot for you there, and a broad range of homes to kind of choose from in that area. And that's going to bring us all the way back around to Brushy Creek, which was number 1. And Brushy Creek, that area, you've got the Brushy Creek Lake Park, which is again part of Cedar Park. And we started out our Cedar Park video there. And if you really want to know about this area that is the top number 1 suburb area for families, then you're probably going to want to check out that video where we get out there and explore it. So check it out, and I'll see you there.